No one told you life was gonna be this way. Your job's a joke, you broke, your love life's the old way. It's like you're always stuck in second gear. When it hasn't been your day, week, your month, or even your year. But I'll be there for you.
So I never really wanted to make a Draw My Life video because I guess I thought my life really wasn't that interesting, you know, kind of just typical teenager stuff. But then I saw one of my friends and I decided that, hey, there's some things about my life that maybe people don't know. So, without further ado, here we go. Just wanted to give you guys a little bit of a warning that I can't draw. I draw two stick people. And this isn't really a stick person, but this is my other person that I draw. So I'm just giving you a warning that my illustrations may not be top notch. Chapter 1, Early Years. I was born on September 7th, 1997. A few years later, my brother came along. His name is Mason. He was born on November 21st, 2000. I don't remember a whole lot about my childhood. The parts that I do remember is that I was a pretty happy kid. I liked Legos, taking things apart, playing in the water, and computers. But to be quite honest, I don't remember a whole lot from my early years. Chapter 2, Elementary School. Now, since both of my parents worked, they needed a place for us to go during the day after school and before school. So we went to this great place called Rainbow Rascals. Mason and I both went there, and we did not like it at all. And to be honest, I don't really remember why we didn't like it. I just remembered that it was something we didn't like doing. I remember that Mason and I hated it so much, we'd come up with ideas on how we could bankrupt the place. Like after we were done using the bathroom, we would leave the water running. But there was actually a real reason why I didn't like it. And that's because I got bullied there. Now, there wasn't more one bully, there was always just this one guy, and for the sake of the story, we'll call him Richard. Richard really wasn't a mean guy, he didn't really know that he was bullying me. He would just say things that offended me. When the start of elementary school came around, I was pretty nervous. I was going to a really big school, well, what I thought was big at the time, and I would be meeting a lot more people. When first grade came, I had a pretty hard year. I don't remember a whole lot about it, but I remember having a really mean teacher. She wasn't like really mean, but she just gave us a ton of homework. More than what a first grader should ever have. That's the year that I met her, the girl that I thought I was gonna marry. And for the sake of this story, we'll just call her Liz. Liz and I actually became pretty good friends. When second grade hit, Liz and I continued to be friends. However, this was the year I was determined that we were gonna date. One day, my mom and I went to Home Depot to buy some flowers. I thought it would be a good idea to buy Liz some, to show her how much she meant to me. Now, Liz knew that I liked her, but I don't think she knew how much I liked her. So then on the next day of school, I brought the flowers in and set them on her desk. I was expecting her to run up to me, give me a hug, and we'd live happily ever after. But of course, that didn't happen. The whole class started pointing and laughing at me. While it was one of the worst days of my life, it's something that I'll always remember. Later in elementary school, I still didn't have very many friends, but from the ones that I did have, they seemed to be pretty big into sports. I wasn't super athletic, but I wasn't unathletic. I was just kind of average. I played every sport you could think of. Baseball, basketball, flag football, soccer, just couldn't find one that I really could get a hold of. And to this day, sports have never really played an intricate part of my life. Now, I don't really remember why, but in third grade, I was really determined to learn Spanish. I started talking to my mom about it, and she looked out for local Spanish tutors. There was one teacher at the elementary school that I went to that knew Spanish, and she offered to teach it to me. And for the sake of the story, we're gonna call her Mrs. O. And so that's kind of how it went. For the next couple months, I learned Spanish from her. When fourth grade rolled around, I still didn't have very many quote-unquote friends, but it was okay, because for some reason it didn't seem to bother me. One day in the fifth grade, I told my mom that I had a headache, and to her it was just something normal. Take ibuprofen and it went away. But these went on for months. We didn't know why. Just at random times throughout the day, I would get horrible headaches. 5 doctors and couple IVs later, I still had them, and no one knew why. However, in 6th grade, things started looking up. I was elected vice president of the Student Government Association, and my mission was to make the school a better place. Now, we were only in 6th grade, so there wasn't a whole bunch of stuff we could do. And my job as vice president was to deliver the morning announcements. This was the most fun that I ever had, being able to talk to the people directly. Everyone has always mentioned that I've had a pretty good speaking voice. Except, this was the point. This was the time that I really could shine. Except there was a pretty big problem. I could not pronounce the R sound to save my life. I remember the first day that I gave the announcements. I walked into the office, clicked the button, and started speaking. I walked back to class, and the whole class gave me a round of applause. Chapter 3, junior high. Now, I may have forgot to mention this, but I don't really like change. Even to this day, change still kind of scares me. When I had to go to a new school, I was pretty scared. However, there was just one thing that made everything worth it. And I don't know if you guys have heard of it, but it's called YouTube. YouTube really gave me a home. It wasn't because I made videos, it gave me something to do after school. I don't know why, but I took a pretty strong interest to computers and film. My favorite YouTube channel was Filmright. They were a really good channel. They showed me the ins and outs of how to make movies. And Filmright, if you're watching this, thanks. Once again in 8th grade, the principal of the school asked me to do the morning announcements. I was so thrilled. I loved doing them. To be honest, I don't think she asked me because of my voice. I think she asked me just because I enjoyed doing it. And here's a little certificate she gave me at the end of the year. Chapter 4. High School. Now, since I didn't like change, moving schools was a big challenge in my life. Freshman year was no exception. I started out freshman year eating lunch alone in the bathroom. Not because I didn't have any friends, but because I liked to be alone. However, things moved quickly from bad to worse. Remember those headaches I had from junior high? This was when they were in full swing. I was on a lot of medication for them, and I wasn't thinking clearly. I had some pretty dark thoughts, and I probably could have done some bad things to myself if no one was there to stop me. I wasn't doing very well academically either, which made things worse, and dealing with the stress from my parents, this was just a really low point in my life. However, I looked up and moved past it. I found some friends that accepted me for who I was, and then started getting more involved in the school. I even went to a great place called Young Life that helped me find my true passion. I got my grades back up to an acceptable level and stopped taking medication, learned to express my emotions through creating videos. I had a vision that I wanted to make technology videos because I was a really big gearhead, and I really still am to this day. What's going on, guys? Jackson here, and this is the best computer for under $800. Now, the main goal about this computer is I wanted to make it user-friendly and powerful. What's going on, guys? Jackson here, and today I picked up a pair of $6 headphones from Amazon. Let's see how they sound. What's going on, guys? Jackson here, and today we're taking a look at the new Trend Airbender iPad Air Case. So, you want to know how to make the best DSLR slider for $125? Keep watching. Growing up, I wasn't very social. I spent most of my free time watching YouTube videos home alone. However, I wasn't really ashamed of this. I learned how to build computers, code, and since I was struggling so much in school at the time, I would watch videos in math and science. That summer, I got a job at Office Depot as a technology specialist. I really enjoyed working there because it gave me a home, a place where no one cared. Junior year was the year I really started to move out of my comfort zone. I found a new group of friends who were in technology as well. I joined a club called Cyber Patriot. I was also elected president of junior board. I thought that I had everything figured out. But then one day, there was a new girl at our school. And the minute I saw her, I thought she was the perfect, most beautiful girl I've ever seen in my life. I went to introduce myself, but I was very afraid. And then it turned out that I liked her a lot more than she liked me, and she didn't feel the same way. I remember sitting in my bed at night crying, just wondering why God made me this way. Why she didn't like me for who I was. Why I had to go to school changing everything about me to make me seem like I was someone else. But eventually, things got better. I pushed away those who held me back. And in my senior year, I took a whole bunch of AP classes. I was also voted on Student Government Associate and Executive Board. We did all sorts of fun events like homecoming and some other fun stuff. Senior year is by far my favorite year of high school. I felt like I had a purpose. I felt like I had a home. Chapter 5. Moving forward. Before I end this video, I want to take the time to thank each and every one of you, not only for watching, but for being part of my life. Each one of my friends and family has impacted me in a special way. In the fall, I'll be attending University of Cincinnati to study information technology. I've always had a true passion for film and making videos, so I wanted to say thank you all for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed this video. Riley, no. Out of all the places to sit, you sit there, right when I'm making a video. Like this is a huge house and you sit right there. Come on. Yeah, there we go.